The first topic of our exercise is Unit 1, which starts off from basic settings. In basic settings, we are going to cover two organizational objects of financial accounting, company code and the other would be segment. First of all, let's go through what is the concept of a company code. Your organizational entity, your legal entity at which financial reporting is done for external stakeholders, that is known as a company code. Now, in order to create a company code, first we will enter the transaction code for our implementation guide, which is SPRO, and we'll press enter for that. Since we have no projects mentioned over here, so we will click on a reference implementation guide. In order to create a company code, we need to go to the enterprise structure node. Whatever organizational object that we need to create regarding any module, that is always created from enterprise structure. Soon as we go to the enterprise structure, first of all we will define a company code. In definition, we will go to financial accounting, and here we will get all the organizational structures that are related to financial accounting. As you can see, according to our first exercise, in order to create a company code, we need to go to this node which says edit, copy, delete and check company code. By clicking over here, this transaction will get executed, and then we'll go to edit company code data. Soon as we enter this screen, all the company codes created within this client are listed over here. In order to create a new company code, I have to click on new entries, and system will ask me for a 4-digit company code identification. For example, we enter FI02 as a company code identification, and then company name, let's just name it FI Workshop 2, the city of the company, country, currency. This currency represents the local currency of the company code. The currency mentioned over here would be treated as the company code currency, which means that all the transactions that will be done within this company code will always have a balance translated and maintained under this currency. The language in which the company will be maintained, that is EN. Now, if I do not know what is the prefix or what is the short form of the language, I can always click on this drop down and it will give me the list of values which are stored behind this table. For English, the short form is EN, so by double clicking, the properties will get automatically derived onto this field. Soon as I have entered all this information, I just have to save, and we have created a new company code. What SAP recommends is that we always need to create a company code by copying a standard company code which is delivered in SAP, that is 0001. But we can also create a new company code from scratch. If we are using similar properties as of company code 0001 with same chart of account and account assignment properties, then we can always copy the company code from 0001. Now since the company code has been created, we will get an information message, the data has been saved. We can go back from here, and there you can see if I click on the position and I write FI02, here is our company which has been created right now. If I double click on it, you'll see all the properties that we just entered in order to create a company code. Now our second exercise in AC02, which has been mentioned with the name of business area, since business area has become obsolete and they have been replaced by another object with the name of segment. So instead of business area, we will first understand the concept of segment and we will learn how to create a segment. Segment is basically an organizational entity below company code. If the company wants to produce their financial statements on an object below our company code, we will create it as a segment, and our financial statements can be generated at segment level as well. Here we can see, since it is an organizational object of FI, It will also be present under enterprise structure definition for financial accounting. As you can see over here, we have a node with the name of defined segment as well. By clicking over here, as you can see, there has already been defined a segment. So what we can do is we can create a new entry or copy an existing segment as well. By clicking over here, this segment will get highlighted, and the button right next to the new entry is the copy button. I just click over here and I just have to change the name for it, and our segment will get as it is copied. Once I have put in all the description and the 4-digit identification key for the segment, I just have to press enter and the data will get copied. As you can see from the information, number of entries copied are 1. Once the entries are copied, I just have to click save and the tables will get updated, and we have created a new segment as well. Moving on to our next topic, which is a variant principle. Now the concept of variant principle is that any property which can be assigned to one or more company code, that is known as a variant. Now variant has always 3 steps, which is number 1, you have to define a variant, number 2, you have to configure a variant, and number 3, you assign the variant to your company code. Now the main concept behind a variant is that variant is a similar nature, a similar property which can be assigned to multiple objects. Now in order to create a variant, we'll again go to our IMG implementation guide transaction code, which is SPRO. We'll go to the reference IMG and we will go to financial accounting global settings, ledger, fiscal year and posting periods, or which is an example of a fiscal year variant, which is an example of a variant, or we can also go to fields and define a field status variant. There are various examples of a variant, namely field status variant, posting period variant, and chart of account variant. And we, in order to configure all of them, we have to go through 3 properties. Like I said earlier, we have to define it, we have to configure it, and then we have to assign it to a company code. Now since field status is also a variant, by clicking over here, first of all I have to define a variant. As you can see, we have already defined a variant over here with the name of FI Workshop. If I want to create a new variant, by clicking over here I can create a new field status variant, or if I want to copy my existing field status variant, I can just select it from here and copy it. Now that the variant has been defined, the second step is I have to configure the variant. By clicking over here, selecting this field status variant and double clicking onto its properties, I can define different field status groups. All these field status groups, they all belong to this field status variant. We have defined 2 different field status groups. After defining these, since I have performed my second step as well, step 1 was I defined the variant, second step was I configured the variant. As soon as I have done it, I can save it from here. And now our third step is we have to assign a variant to a company code. By going back from here, this is the transaction from where I can perform my third step. By clicking over here, we can go to our company code we just created lately, that is FI02, and I can assign the same field status variant over here. If I do not remember the name, all I can do is take a drop down from here, and here we can see field status variant which we just created earlier, and double click on it and I save it. The variant has been assigned to a company code. So like the concept says, in order to define a variant, you first have to define it, you then have to configure it, and then you assign it to a company code. This concludes our exercise for variant. Moving on to our third topic in AC200 within first unit, which is fiscal year. Now fiscal year is also an example of a variant. which means that we can define a single fiscal year and that can be assigned to multiple company codes. If, for example, we define a fiscal year variant which is from June to July, that can be assigned to multiple company codes pretty much having the same fiscal year. In order to define a fiscal year, we will go to the same transaction code which is SPRO, except reference IMG. We'll move on to financial accounting global settings, ledgers, fiscal year and posting period, and this is the node from where we can create a fiscal year. By clicking on it, we will directly go to the screen where we can create a fiscal year. Now as you can see, we have multiple properties of a fiscal year. Namely, we have two different types of fiscal years. The fiscal year can either be an year dependent or year independent. Year independent fiscal year means that every fiscal year would have different properties. Every fiscal year would have different number of periods that will start and end to. Year dependent fiscal year means that the fiscal year would remain same throughout its properties for every year. For example, fiscal year October to September is a year dependent fiscal year, which means that this fiscal year will not change yearly. This fiscal year will remain same throughout its history. Now, within year dependent fiscal year, we have two different types of fiscal year, which we have a calendar year or a non-calendar year. A calendar year fiscal year means that the start would be from January and it will end to December. A non-calendar fiscal year could be either July to June, or it could be April to March, October to September, depending on the legal requirement of the company. Now, in order to create a fiscal year, let's just decide that what type of fiscal year we will be creating. Let's just create a fiscal year which is year dependent and a non-calendar year, which means being an year dependent fiscal year, the fiscal year will remain the same throughout its history. Being a non-calendar year, it will mean that that its period will start from anywhere except January and will end anywhere except December. In order to create a fiscal year, I can either click on new entries or I can copy an existing fiscal year as well. As you can see, we have already created a fiscal year with the name of Z1, that is July to June. We just click on it and we copy it, and let's name it Z2. Now, since we have to keep this year independent, by automatically not checking this box, the system will assume it is an year independent fiscal year. By not clicking over here, the system will automatically assume that this is a non-calendar fiscal year. We will give the number of posting periods over here, which are always 12 in fact, and number of special periods, which are 4. We can have maximum of 4 special periods. The concept of a special period is that once your year has ended and you have moved on to your next fiscal year, any adjustment incurring in regard to your previous fiscal year will always be posted to a special period in order to have a track of those adjustments. Since I have copied the fiscal year variant, I will just press enter and I will select copy all entries. The system will just issue me a message that the number of dependent entries has been copied. I'll just click on save changes. As you can see, we have created a fiscal year variant. Now we have to define the periods in this fiscal year variant. By clicking over here, I will go on to the period section and I just try to configure that first month would be my 7th period, which is July. Second month would be my 8th period. Third month would be my 9th period, and so on. According to the calendar year, the 7th period would be, for my company, would be January. My January would be my 7th period, and so on. This is how we configure the fiscal year. Once we have done this, we just have to click on the period text and we have to enter the short form and the text for each and every period. For example, this is 1 is my July, This is the short form, and the long text, that is July. Second is my second period is August, that is AUG is my short form, and the long text would be August. So if I recall everything again, since this fiscal year is also a variant, we just defined a variant with the name of Z2, that is July to June. We configured the variant by moving on to its period section, and we configured that the first month is my 7th period, second month is my 8th period, third month is my 9th period, and so on. And I give an year shift to it, that if I am in my 7th period, that is January, that would be considered as that would be known as a fiscal year 2012. For example, if I am in year 2011 and my first period is July, so according to that my fiscal year would be considered as 2012. In order to do that, I create a year shift by which the system will automatically assume that this period belongs to my fiscal year 2012. Once I have configured each and everything, I'll just click save on it. The system will again issue me a message, data has already been saved. I'll go back, and that is how we have created a fiscal year variant. Now the third property of a variant is that I have to assign this to a company code. By clicking over here, if I go to my company code from the find button FI02, I assign my fiscal year variant to it. Once I have done this, I just have to click save, and we have just created a fiscal year and assigned it to our company code. Now this concludes our third topic for Unit 1. Moving on to our fourth topic of Unit 1, which is known as currencies. In order to configure currencies, we have to go to, we are directly in the implementation guide screen. So within the implementation guide, we have to go to SAP NetWeaver, General Settings, and Currencies. As you can see, there are a lot of customizations regarding to currencies, but they are all not necessary. So in order to configure currencies, the first thing that we have to do is we have to maintain an exchange rate type. Exchange rate type is the standard exchange rate type which is used by the company code for translation of all the currencies, and this exchange rate type is assigned to your company code. The standard exchange rate type which is used by SAP and which is also recommended by SAP is exchange rate type M, which says that standard translation at an average rate. Whatever exchange rate is maintained between two currencies is always maintained against a certain exchange rate type, and in our case it will be M. If I click over here, which means inversion, that would mean that if I am maintaining an exchange rate type from USD to Euro and I haven't maintained an exchange rate for Euro to USD, so if I click on inversion, it will directly calculate my exchange rate from Euro to USD through the defined rate in my system, which is USD to Euro. It will automatically calculate a reverse calculation if I have checked my inversion. So this is how we define an exchange rate type. Normally SAP does not recommend to have a customized exchange rate type, since it is always recommended to use M. If a company has a requirement to use a different exchange rate type, then we can always use our reference currency. Since we have defined the exchange rate type, we'll just have to click save, and I have selected the inversion property for it. By clicking save, I can go back, and then in our next exercise we will learn how to maintain exchange rate. By clicking over here, system will directly take me to the table where I can maintain my exchange rates. Now since the exchange rate has to be maintained against the exchange rate type I defined earlier, that is M, I'll just click on position and type M, which will filter out all the exchange rate type exchange rates defined against M. Now as you can see, in order to define an exchange rate, all you have to do is enter your exchange rate type, enter a date from which the exchange rate is applicable. You have to select a currency from, in this case it is a United Arab Emirates dirham, which has been defined at a rate of 31.18 against Japanese yen, which means 1 AE dirham is equal to 31.18700 Japanese yen. Similarly, if I take another example, in this one it says that 1 Australian dollar is equal to 64.15 Japanese yen. So all these properties have to be defined against a certain exchange rate, that is M. Moving on to the concept of inversion, if I have defined Australian dollar to Japanese yen, now if my transaction needs to translate the exchange rate from Japanese yen to Australian dollar, it will automatically get derived from this exchange rate translation that we have defined if we have configured our inversion translation. Once I have defined my exchange rate, I just have to click save, and whatever transaction will take place, the system will automatically derive the exchange rate translation from this table. This concludes our exercise. Moving on to our unit 2, the first topic of unit 2, which is journal ledger accounts. Unit 2 is basically all about major master data that are covered in financial accounting. So to start off with the first major master data, that is our journal ledger accounts. In order to configure journal ledger in financial accounting, we first need to create a chart of account. Since chart of account is also an example of a variant, we will again go through the same configuration steps, that we will define a chart of account, configure it, and then assign it to our company code. In order to create a chart of account, let's go to the same IMG transaction code, this is SPRO, or reference IMG. We will go to financial accounting, journal ledger accounting, master data for GL accounts, preparation, and here is our transaction to create a chart of account. By clicking on edit chart of account list, system will directly take me to all the chart of accounts that are already created over here. If I try to search FI00, that is a chart of account that has already been defined for our company code. By double clicking on it, the system will ask me for its main properties. Now in order to define a chart of account, you first need to have a 4-digit chart of account identification, a description for it, the main maintenance language, and the length of GL account number. The length of GL account number indicates that all the GL accounts within a chart of account would have a 4-digit identification. In our case, we have kept it as a 4. There is no hard and fast rule, but according to the requirement of the company, the length of GL account number can vary. The second step is integration to controlling. That means I can create my cost elements in controlling manually or automatic creation of cost elements. If a company has a group chart of account, that can be assigned from here. I just have to enter the group chart of account number over here. If the chart of account for some reason has been blocked against any kind of posting or editing, chart of account can be blocked from here. Once I have given all these properties, I'll click save on it, and our chart of account has been created and it has been saved. Now the second step is we have to assign the chart of account to our company code. In order to assign the chart of account, we will have to go to financial accounting, global parameters for a company code, enter global parameters. All the major assignments to our company code are done from this screen. So in order to find our company code, I'll click on position. I will enter FI00. As you can see, this is our company code. By double clicking on it, here you see, from here we can assign the chart of account that we created to this company code. As you can see, a lot of information that was entered during the creation of the company code has been automatically derived. For example, the country, the currency or maintenance language, and a 4-digit company code identification. Once I have assigned the chart of account over here, by clicking save, the system will save all the properties. Now that we have defined a chart of account, configured it and assigned it to our company code, we'll move on with our topic of journal ledger and financial accounting. Before we move on, there is a major concept for creation of any journal ledger account within the system. Every journal ledger account is divided into two different properties, that is the chart of account segment and a company code segment. Before we move on into detail regarding this topic, first let's create GL account groups for our chart of account. Account groups are basically grouping of similar nature of GL accounts. If I move on to the screen, define account groups, as you can see, there are different account groups for different nature of GL accounts. For example, material. I create an account group for material. That means all my all my GL accounts related to material will be opened under this account group. This account group would have its certain number range. All my material GL accounts opened up under this account group will start off from a certain number and will end on to a certain number. For example, assets, they will start from 1000 and they will end up to 999999. So if I find my chart of account, which is FI00, as you can see, we have created certain account groups for it, namely current assets, current liabilities, expenses, fixed assets and long-term liabilities. Under each account group, we have given a certain number range. My current assets account would start off from 1000 and they can be created up to 1999. If by mistake I enter a number outside this range, system will automatically issue me an error message that this number does not belong to the range assigned to my account group. As we understood so far that creating an account group not only controls the number range of those GL accounts, account groups also control certain field status regarding that account group. If I double click on it, system will directly take me to the field status of this account group. For example, current asset account need to have certain properties maintained. So I would create those properties as a required entry. By double clicking on an account group, the system will directly take me to the account group maintenance screen. If I go to account control, for example, for an asset account, it has to be maintained as a reconciliation account for asset. So the reconciliation account field can be kept as a required entry, so that any asset account that has to be created is not missed by mistake to be created as a reconciliation account. By saving it, the system will make sure that whenever you create an GL account under current asset account group, that has to be defined as a reconciliation account. So if I recall, our account groups, the concept of account group is that it groups similar nature of GL accounts. Number 2, it controls the number ranges of GL accounts opened within that account group. Number 3, it controls the field status of GL account master data, which has to be created under that certain account group. Now coming back to our previous concept, that was chart of account segment and a company code segment. In order to understand that, let's just first access our chart of account. The transaction code for accessing our chart of account is FS00. As you can see, these are the same account groups that we reviewed earlier. Now, in order to understand what is a chart of account segment and a company code segment is, any data that has the any property of a GL account which is at a client level is known as a chart of account segment, which means that if this chart of account FI00 has been assigned to multiple company codes, the data defined under chart of account segment would remain same for all the company codes. For example, the short text or the GL account long text. The screen that you are viewing right now, the data configured under the screen belongs to the chart of account segment, which means that the short text of the GL account and long text of the GL account, or the properties of the GL account, that is profit and loss or a balance sheet, or the account group for which this GL account has been opened, that would remain same for all the company codes to which this chart of account has been assigned. Now the company code data is company code specific data. From this tab onwards, our control data and our create bank and interest tab, these are our company code specific data. If I double click on this GL account and display it, the control data and the create bank interest tab, all the properties defined under these tabs are specific to company codes. For example, currency. Currency may vary from a company code to another company code. Therefore, this data has been defined as a company code segment, that currency could vary for each company code. In order to understand the properties of a GL account, let's start off from the chart of account segment. This is a GL account that has already been created. Number one, we first have to select the account group for which this GL account is being created. Over here we have selected a account group for current assets, which means the GL account number has to be between 1000 and 1999. Since this is an asset account, therefore it has been classified as a balance sheet account. If it was an expense or a revenue GL account, it would have been classified as a P&L account. If this general ledger account would have been belonged to a certain functional area, the functional area would have to be inserted over here. Once we have identified the account group and determined that is this a balance sheet account or a P&L account, we would have to enter its short text and GL account long text. Now the data prevailing over here would be same for all the company codes. Moving on to the company code specific data, the first is the account currency. If the currency defined over here is same as company code currency, this GL account can be posted into any currency and the translation to local currency or the company code currency will always be available. If we have given an account currency over here which is other than a company code currency, the GL account will only be allowed to be posted for that foreign currency. If I check this checkbox, it will mean that all the transactions being posted onto this GL account, but if they are different from the local currency, their balance will always be translated into local currency as well. Tax category means that any tax account prevailing to this GL account has to be maintained over here. For example, if this would have been an expense account, only input tax should be allowed over here, as only input tax allowed is deducted for an expense account. By clicking over here, we can also allow the system that whenever a posting is being made to a certain GL account, if for some reason tax code has not been entered, the system won't give you an error message and it will let you continue with the process. If this has not been checked, until and unless a tax code has not been given, the system won't let you complete the process. Now, taking this vehicles GL account as an example, since this is an asset account, this has been created as a reconciliation account for account type asset. Similarly, if this was an accounts receivable account or an accounts payable account, if I take a drop down, this would have been created as a customer account or a vendor account. Alternative account number means that if this GL account was to have a country specific chart of account, the alternative account number would have been entered over here. Moving on to our create bank interest tab, which is also part of our company code segment, we have to enter a field status group over here. Referring back to our previous exercise, we created a field status variant under which we defined two different field status groups and we assigned that variant to our company code. So if I take a drop down of this field, the system will show me only those field status groups defined in the field status variant that has been assigned to my company code. So we can select any of the field status group depending on the type of transaction we would normally take place for this GL account. For example, for an asset GL account, a text field was required, or a text has to be entered for its classification or for its identification. We would select the field status group Z002 which says text field required. So whenever a transaction is being posted to this GL account, system will issue an error message if the text field is empty. Post automatically only means that there are certain GL accounts, for example depreciation expense or our sales account, which are always posted through a certain process or through a certain transaction. For example, if I run the depreciation program, system will automatically calculate the depreciation for all the assets and post the accounting entries onto its GL account, which means it is an automatic process. So if I check this GL account, the system will only allow me to post the data into this GL account through an automatic process, and manual GL account entry would not be allowed to this GL account. If this GL account was to be defined as a bank account, any house bank ID or an account ID created for that particular bank needs to be entered over here. This way this GL account will get mapped to our house bank ID and our account ID. So to sum up this topic, we first defined the chart of account and we configured the chart of account and we assigned it to our company code. Then we configured account groups. As you can see, these are the account groups that we configured, and account groups, they control the number range for a GL account and the field status for that GL account master data being opened under the particular account group. Then we understood the concept of chart of account segment and company code segment. Any data which prevails under chart of account segment would be the same for all the company codes that has been assigned to the same chart of account. The company code segment may vary according to each company code depending on its own requirement and configuration preferences. Then we moved on to each and every field in the GL account master data and understood its concept. So this concludes our first topic of unit